Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paperboy.
Not Mr. Magazine.
And it is Saturday BOLO Day. We go through the past week's worth of sales, find the highlights, and bring them to you. We tell you what sold and why it sold, and give you some tips of the trade. And Mr. Magazine, give them some tips.
All right. National Enquirers are very easy to find, but not from 1960.
No, not from back then.
1960, this is a Tuesday Wells on the cover, and it took $64 for it.
And I'm going to say this, and this, you actually, if you take a look at Mr. Magazine's listing right there, what do you see on the cover?
A crease, a fold in the middle.
A giant fold. That actually is great because it makes it so much easier to pack and ship. Definitely do note that it's folded.
Right in here it says it as well. Pages yellowing, fold,
But you can ship it in a much smaller envelope because that's an oversized one, and I believe the Enquirers back then might have been, I think they were a little bit bigger than Life Magazine, as a matter of fact, which means you can't use your Life Magazine envelope or bags. They actually take a little bit bigger size than that, which gets to be a real pain.
Yeah.
So the fact it's folded, that actually, from a selling standpoint for the packing, works out to be a lot better. Now, granted, the condition's not as good because it's folded, but I don't think anybody's getting that graded anyway.
I don't think they're paying more if it's flat or not. I mean, if you put a higher grade, they may not even want it.
There might be one person in the world who's trying to collect them in high grade, but for everybody else, I think you're better off having it folded because it makes it so much easier to ship and pack.
Sure. All right, next up, Cinema 57, French first original horror magazine, Ackerman.
Oh, wow.
It's rough condition. We had $200 on it, and I think the sale put it at $160. Someone offered me around $100, and I looked at comps, and someone had a really nice one for $200. So I'm thinking, like, yeah, around $100 is good. I'll take that. So I ended up taking $100 for it. They're tough to find, and it's the first issue. So.
Wow. No, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
And you may never again. Next up.
Well, give everybody out their hope for their finding their bolos. Wow.
No, I said you may never find.
Okay. They'll find.
Yeah, they'll find many of them.
They'll trip over them.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, Sporting News, July through December 77, blue binder. This one for $50. Generally, this is a good way to sell them because they're very tough to sell individually. We've actually ended listings and used them for paper wrapping to stuff boxes and stuff. So
you got $2 a piece out of them.
Yep. So, but again.
See, and that's where things have changed because the stuff now a little earlier than that, the early 70s stuff, I had a big pile of it I had picked up.
Yeah.
And I sold all of them. Now we're talking I picked them up 15 to 20 years ago, but I sold them all for $7-10 a piece.
Yeah.
Over time, they all did sell. Nowadays, you can't. I guess there's so many of them out there, so much competition.
Even that, the shipping, because I think they're probably over a pound. By the time you pack it and stuff, so they're going to sell for less just for that reason alone. All right.
And well, the other thing too is they're oversized too. You got to hope those are folded also.
Exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah. Next up, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, 2007 Donruss Materials Trios, number 12 out of 25.
Oh.
This one, we were a little high at $350. We had it on sale for $285, and I think I took a $2.25 price on it. So again, slow season. We're moving stuff out. I'm still made some money and moving on.
Wow. Now, that came from 2007 though. That was before the big boom, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were in the league. Favre was probably nearing his end of his career, but Manning and Brady were probably in the league 7-8 years at that point. So.
Right, but I'm thinking about even the football market around 2007, the insert market.
Yeah, it wasn't as crazy, and 12 out of 25 was probably almost like a 1 out of 1 now. So. Yeah. All right, next up, Grief of a Nation, Kathy's story.
Oh.
Kathy Atkinson, signed by the author, who is Kathy Atkinson, and I know nothing about this.
Wow.
It was listed almost 4 years ago, and
but
I got
still
got $164 out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were asking $205 on it. Wow.
Yeah, so it must have been something good at some point that we knew something about. I didn't know about it, but my lister did.
Wow.
That's the first edition with dust jackets and signed. So.
Wow.
All right. Next up. Brad Havens, Dodgers, autographed 1987 Topps 44T traded card with COA. Started digging deep into our archives. I picked up thousands upon thousands of sports cards autographed, and we have a ton from '87. This is Brad Havens. I'm assuming he passed away and this is why it's $260.
I have no idea. I was just going to ask, did he pass away or is
he wasn't in the league very long? Let's say he was a rookie. That was his first card. Say 87 Topps traded. So it's the traded card, which was a shorter production card.
He was there 5 years, yeah.
But he may not have been good enough for a card, too.
Oh, right.
So, say he was, a scrub.
He threw a no-hitter in the playoffs in high school.
Well, all right, good for him. I don't know where he is now, but
some people still are living in high school glory.
Yeah, it's true. And maybe Brad Havens was the one that bought this card. Who knows? But again, I can't complain. Whoever bought it said they would want more if we had them, so we'll do some digging. Hopefully, find some more.
Well, I guess the other thing too is there were certain players out there. I believe Al Horabowski was one of them that didn't sign very much.
Yeah.
So if you actually did have something signed, and that was what they used to always laugh about was this guy doesn't sign because he's being hounded for his autograph, but the reason he's being hounded is because he hardly ever signs.
Right. Well, hold on real quick. This will be a good test because I bought thousands of these from one guy who claimed he went to all these minor league games and major league games. And now, because this is over 200, it's going to get authenticated. Now, I'm curious who's authenticating it, what autograph they're comparing it to. Because back then, if he was a nobody, it may not look like his normal autograph, and it may be hard to even comp it. So I'm curious how it's going to come back.
Well, maybe they'll call Brad himself and ask him.
Yeah.
Who knows? First item I have here is Discom Compilak Graffiti Magazine 2000 German Artist Counterculture. Didn't put too many pictures up, unfortunately. I should have put more pictures up. But I had picked up many, many years ago a big collection of graffiti magazines. I actually bought them off of eBay, and I remember I paid about $3 a piece. And I did very well with them, and I listed most of them. And this one kind of fell through the cracks, and I found it sitting in a pile somewhere, listed it. But if you find graffiti magazines, especially older ones, I believe some of the ones I had in that collection were 80s and 90s as well. Yeah. And by older, that is old in the graffiti world. You're not going to find a 1940s graffiti magazine. There just wasn't any such thing out there. Do buy them. I actually do go very, very well. There are a number of hardcore collectors out there. So anything graffiti oriented, do pick it up if you can find it.
My motto's always been, if you can't pronounce it, buy it.
Well, that works for some people, not for everybody. So I bought TWA Flight Menu, 1973 in New York City. That, of course, is TWA.
Yes,
I just made a joke.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I got $20 out of this, but does that scream 1970s or what?
It is
just
cool.
with that 1970s look to it.
Cool.
I didn't know what to put on it as far as a description. TWA Flight Menu, 1973. New York City. I mean, exactly what else can you put on it? Maybe I could have put Statue of Liberty on there or something.
At least you sold it in a year, so your price is probably right. Where if you listed it yesterday and it sold for that today, I would say, geez, you must be really low on it or something. But at least you hit it right. But you could have put more. Who knows? It's a very cool cover.
Yeah, very, very neat item right there. Next up, Rodales Yiddish Lingo Magazine, July 1970. I'm sure you've had many of these.
I have not.
I got a $20 offer on it, and I took it. Wanted it to go. I do have about 5 or 6 more of this title. I just have to figure out what pile they were in and get them listed. But it's good to know that something other like this sells. I didn't want to go list all 6 of them all at once either, because, of course, if it didn't sell, they would all sit and rot together, basically. But sometimes these oddball titles, something other like this, ends up being some of the more popular things versus everybody else is out buying Sports Illustrated or things, and you can buy Rodales Yiddish Lingo magazine. Probably not at the same sale. Up next, remember Benji the Dog?
I do.
A lot of 3 paperbacks, Ellison Thomas, Frank, and Joe Camp. I picked up this from another dealer along with a bunch of other stuff. It was basically in the box is what it came down to. And I started pricing them out, and they're really not worth listing individually, and they don't go for a ton on Amazon. So I said, I've got 3 of them. I'll throw them all together in one lot. Yeah, ended up getting $24 out of the 3 of them. Wow. I don't know. It could be the complete collection of Benji. I really don't know. I think they did a little golden book of Benji, but beyond that, I am not certain. But very happy to get a price like that out of these for certain.
Cool.
Up next, Universal Cookbook Recipe Booklet Food Chopper 1910s, New Britain, Connecticut. $32 out of this. Now this happens to be one that I did put a whole bunch of pictures up on. Pretty neat little item right over here. with that there. And again, it's just a booklet. And it's small. It could fit in your pocket if you had one. It would fit in your pocket. $32 for something or other like that is pretty neat. And even looking at it there with the condition is not mint condition by any means whatsoever. It's got the dirt on it and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously, they were cooking when they had the cookbook on the counter.
Absolutely. That actually does happen. You're saying that to be funny, but that absolutely does. That absolutely does happen a lot. And you'll find that in old cookbooks, old brochure or recipe booklets and all that kind of thing. So don't necessarily be deterred by that. You'll find that a lot of times. And finally, AAU Track and Field Championships 1963 St. Louis Globe. Do you know who Bob Hayes is?
The football player for the Cowboys?
Bullet Bob Hayes. Right there is Bullet Bob Hayes for the 100-yard dash.
Interesting.
I went through it and I saw, I believe this is Robert Hayes if I remember right, and I said, that sounds like Bob Hayes. And sure enough, I checked it up and he went to that school and everything. So that just goes to show that sometimes you find some neat things when you're going through these things over here, because he was a world-class sprinter, fastest man in the NFL for that period of time and all that as well, after he went in. So kind of a neat little item over there. That's why I like picking up the old track and field things and the old high school programs and all that stuff, because you absolutely never know who you might end up finding there. And then obviously put the picture up of them and identify them, and you'll end up making the sale as well. Cool. So hopefully that helps you a little bit out there. We'd really appreciate if you help us by hitting the like button, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.